Are you thinking about becoming an email copywriter, but you're wondering if it's too late to start? Maybe you're above 40 years of age, like I am, and you're wondering, looking at these gurus and others who are saying you can make a full time income with email copywriting. They say you can make 10K a month. Some will say in 1 month, some will say in 3 months. They'll say you can do this. So you're wondering if there's truth to this or should you believe them? So let me tell you my story. I am 44 years old and I started email copywriting with these dreams and hopes. And I realized some things which these gurus don't talk about, things that you should know and avoid pitfalls. So things like there is competition, you need to do a lot of hard work, and there's a path to take if you want to reach to that 5K per month. So in this video, I'm going to talk about things that you as a new beginner, especially above 40 years of age, should know so you can avoid those pitfalls, learn from my experience and make better use of your time and become an email copywriter and reach faster to your goals. So let's get into it. So these are my notes I'm just looking at on my phone. So the first thing is my story. I started at around 43, 44 years old with email copywriting just last year. So I've been learning email copywriting, trying to reach to that full-time income. That was my goal. So the journey that I was thinking of taking is to reach that first $1K per month and then gradually $3K per month, then $5K per month. That was my goal. That was my plan over a few months. So I started email copywriting with that intention. But what surprised me was it's a lot of hard work and it's hard to even reach that first paid client, which I'll talk about. So why did I start email copywriting and why should you start email copywriting? The main thing is it is beginner friendly. So every business needs emails, whether it's coaching, whether it's software as a service, whether it's e-commerce. Everyone uses email. They have been using email for a long time and they will continue to use email. So that's always going to be profitable. So that's one thing. Then when it comes to copywriting, you don't need a degree actually. It may help you, or in cases like it can cause problems as well. So if you have, say, an English degree, your writing will be actually bad because there's a different way of writing when you're doing copywriting. You want to get people to read your copy, but with English as a subject, you could write boring copy actually. So you need to remove those bad habits. You need to learn how to write at grade 5 level so people can easily read your copy and actually understand what you're writing about. A good thing is that as a email copywriter, you can either start as a freelancer or you can get hired at a job. You could get hired at an agency or at a company. So there are a lot of options. That's one of the benefits, especially when you're a beginner. And there is a huge demand, like I mentioned, whether you're going for any e-commerce, uh, email copywriting, or for a SaaS company or for coaches. There is lot of demand and it keeps increasing. So that's the advantages we have as a beginner. Now, the truth that nobody tells you about email copywriting, the most important thing is it's a lot of hard work. It's not like you just spend 1 month and then you'll be making 10K per month. It doesn't work like that. You need to really work hard on studying copywriting, studying email copywriting in particular, studying the type of email copywriting you want to go into, whether it's e-commerce or into SaaS or something like that. So you need to be writing a lot of copy, you need to be reading a lot of copy, you need to be studying copywriting, maybe taking coaching, maybe going through courses. So a lot of stuff you need to be doing there. And then the most important aspect, and which is a separate skill in itself, I believe, is to reach out to clients and to get your clients. So especially that first client, this is really tough and it's a completely separate skill. I would say then even copywriting, you can use it in any field to outreach to clients. So it's a good skill to acquire, but really tough and hard, especially for a beginner. So I'm still struggling with that. I'm still outreaching to clients. You get better over time. You find new strategies. You find better ways to do it, which I'll talk about later. but it's a very important step to get that first client. Now, here's one of the biggest mistake that we as new copywriters will tend to make. So we start studying copywriting, we'll start writing, and then we keep getting stuck in this learning mode itself. We keep learning, we keep watching YouTube videos, we look at gurus, what they are talking about. Oh, this new strategy, that new strategy, copywriting is working, it's not working. This is the new way to do in 2026. You should do this type of outreach. There are 100 gurus on YouTube, and they keep messing with our mind on what to do. And then we get stuck in analysis paralysis. We don't do the actual work of outreaching to clients. So we get comfortable in the learning mode and don't get into this outreach mode, which we need to switch at some point. So the main skill that you need to get paid is not your writing actually. You can write, or you should be writing at grade 5 when it comes to email copywriting. So people tend to forget that. They feel that they need to have a high level of English to be doing copywriting, but that's not the case. You need to write in such a way that everyone can understand it. The most important thing is you need to understand about your customer, about your clients, their customers, and what they are expecting, what they need, what the product is about. So that's what you need to know about to write your copy. That's the most important part, because your copy should sell that product to the client's customers. That's the most important thing. How good you write the copy is not that important, but how much sales your copy is going to make, that's the important part. So the next is how to get your first client, which I mentioned. That's one of the difficult parts. Even I'm struggling with it right now. There are different ways to approach that. So the typical way, which is a part to failure, is to directly start cold email outreaching to like thousands of uh, clients, thousands of potential clients, like using automation. Now there's AI automation, start bombarding, spamming. So that's a very bad way of going about it. So it doesn't give that much success. So a better way, I believe, is to provide value. So you find particular type of clients you are interested in. So in my case, I am finding out e-commerce brands I'm interested in. It could be SaaS companies for you, e-commerce brands or coaches. Then I filter them out. I don't go after all types of brands. So I'll filter, say, a company which has less than 20 employees, which invests in marketing. So company which has an email list already. So I try to filter them to this level, because it's much easier to be able to outreach to them, selling the potential of copywriting, and being able to outreach to them, those who don't have a full-fledged marketing in marketing side of the company in their own company. So I try to outreach to such type of companies. So you can make your own filters, that's not a problem. But when you're a beginner, start with the smaller companies, because there is a higher chance someone will hire you there than the larger companies with their own big marketing side of things. So then once you have this list of companies, as a beginner, we don't have experience. We can't show them any case study and stuff. So we don't have that. But what we have is the hunger to study and to give value. So start giving out value. You check out their current email, study their email, study their website, their pop-up form, and whatever you can suggest to get them more clients, or get them more of their customers, or get them more sales, whatever you can do to add value. Forget about getting hired. The main thing is how can you add value. That should be your focus, to build a relationship with them. So I also approach them with this angle now, because I think this is the best method to stand out. Most people don't do that. So that's the way to be able to do this. So there are ways to stand out, which I'll talk in another video about it when doing outreach. So for example, you could record a Loom video instead of sending a message itself, because they'll be getting bombarded with emails and messages by hundreds of other copywriters. So you want to stand out, you record a Loom video, which like 99% of other copywriters are afraid to do that. So you stand out that way and give value through your video. So we want to go to full-time income. We are above 40 years of age. We are starting our life and we want to make money with this. So I also set a realistic way of trying to reach this 5K per month. So the first goal is to reach that $1K per month client. You could have even a step zero before that is to get your first free client. So even that would be a good way of going about it, because what we need is not the money initially. What we need is a case study. Because once we have a case study, on the basis of that, we have this proof and trust, we can outreach to further potential clients. So getting that first client, whether it's free, whether or paid, that's our focus first. And then gradually we want to start moving towards getting that first client who will pay us $1K per month, then $2K per month. And once we reach that level, then the next step would be to have 3 to 5 clients. So you will reach at that 5K per month. That's also my plan. Get the first client, then once you have that, it becomes easier because you can get proof. Then you can also get case studies from that client, testimonials from that client doing the good work. Of course you need to keep doing the good work. So once you do that, then you can get more clients, and then eventually you'll reach 5K per month. Then you can scale it up even to 10K per month and beyond that. There's the good thing about this is there's no limit. And you can also skill stack on this. So you don't only need to remain an email copywriter. That's also one of my plans. I could move to email marketing. So I give more value to the customer, not just sticking to copywriting, but looking at their marketing itself, looking at the strategy, the design, the analytics, and how to improve that. So a lot of things like that can be done later as well. So, like I mentioned, cold email, cold outreach is one of the sticking points. So we need to do some sort of outreach to reach that first client and potential further clients, but there's a lot of issue that can happen in that. So I recorded a video here which can help you with that. So it lets you know, like, when you do cold email outreach, what are the potential issues and how you can avoid those issues and make it more valuable and have better chances that the client will uh, reply to you. So check that video out where I give all that information out.